name is Merrick Allam, and welcome to day 30 of the 1660 challenge. That's right, we are halfway done, and we also have been doing it for 30 days. That's kind of amazing. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. We've got 30 short film scripts in 30 days, and we've got another 30 to go. It's gonna be great. It's the halfway point. It's all downhill from here, and by that I mean the quality of the scripts and the videos and my life. It's all downhill from here. It's great. But if you don't know what the 1660 challenge is, even though I kind of just described it, basically 2 months, 60 short film scripts, one every day. Got a big calendar telling me how to write them, so I don't get bored and I don't, just have to come up with stuff off the dome to write about, or to prompt me for what to write about, because that's pretty hard to do. But it's a challenge, which means, I'm inviting you guys to do this alongside with me. And you can, which is fantastic, and it's never too late to join me writing scripts. That's really cool. But also, if you don't like film that much, and you don't like writing scripts that much, I understand that. I'm not a poser who just thinks everyone should do the same thing as me, because that's lame. The thing that I think is important about this is just trying to get that discipline, that willpower to do something every day for 60 days that is a bit of a time commitment and that will help you improve. So for me, 60 short film scripts is the best thing that I can be doing. For you, it might be building 60 new carpentry projects, making a small wooden horse or a small wooden dorse or a small wooden dorsia. That's you, man. That's you. That's great. It might be collecting 60 new antique fridges. Every day you find a new antique fridge. I don't know. This is why it is up to you. I have the thing that I like to do, so it's your job to come up with something that you want to do if you're trying to do it. So probably don't take any of my suggestions. Recently they've just been getting worse and worse. I try and think of new ones every time, so it just gets progressively more insane. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's get started, huh? Let's get started. So, if you've been following along with us, you may know that today is actually, it's the 30th day of the challenge, and that's great. It's actually the second day of a little mini challenge within our challenge, and that is doing ideas from a hat every single day for weeks. So 7 days of ideas from a hat. I'm pulling out words. I use that to help be my prompt for the day. It helps me kind of get that creative spark going. I really like doing it, so I was like, I'm going to do a whole week of it, because it's my challenge, and I made the calendar for it, and you have no control over me. Ooh, just because you think you have control over me, you government spy, putting metal circuitry in my head. I have free will. I have free will, and you can't get in my head. Anyway, yesterday, basically I was able to write about whatever I wanted as long as it was in the confines of that prompt. So today, naturally, it's within my means. It has to be confined to something that, budgetarily speaking, financially speaking, I would actually be able to go out and shoot tomorrow if I was able to. This is obviously if I was able to gather actors and the time and scheduling. But with the current budget I have and current lifestyle I have, which is not being able to spend any money on any of these things because I'm a college student. I don't have money to spend on these things. So if I was able to do that, what would I come up with? So first of all, before we get into the budgetary confinement whole thing, what drum roll please, because you don't know what the words are yet. We got to think of what the words are. Well, let's take a gander. Drum roll. The words for today's ideas from a hat, and also day 30 of the 1660 challenge. What are the words? They were Hickory Cage. That's right. It's a good time. I picked 2 words again because, you pick 2 words, you grab them from the hat, you eat them up, and you got a tasty snack. So Hickory Cage. What? Whoa, that's pretty crazy. What kind of things would I think of based off of hickory and cages? Well, a lot, as it turns out, because this is actually one of my favorite prompts in recent memory. Favorite responses to one of the prompts in recent memory. Sometimes, I look at them and I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? But this one I was like kind of excited about, and I actually would really love to do it at some point in the near future. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, with Hickory Cage, I thought, well, someone is being confined, but it isn't necessarily about escaping that cage. So what could it be about? We could think kidnappers, so that's where kind of my mind went with this, essentially. And hickory, I think of like hickory, or like, the wood, oak, and like and all these woods. So I think of smoking. I think of like smoking something with wood, and so I think of pipes. I think of pipes because they're made of wood, and you literally use them to smoke. Sorry, paper gives me indigestion, and I eat it. I'm gonna be eating a lot of paper for these next few videos. I'm like shoe nice now, guys. I eat paper for views. Speaking of which, continuing with the concept that I was talking about, I started thinking about all this stuff, and I was looking at that random Wikipedia article thing again, because I actually think that's really helpful to do. And I honestly, if I was to do this again, I would probably try and incorporate that somehow, like a day where it's just, the prompt is to randomly hit, find a Wikipedia article every that is a prompt, inspirationally speaking, because it's been really helpful, and I didn't think it was going to be as helpful as it was, but it really has helped me significantly. Even with the addition of the ideas from a hat, it really helps bump stuff up a little bit. It helps me find that creative center, possibly, you might say. So I was looking I found some stuff that reminded me of boats, essentially, so I wanted to take place in a boat, so I was like, okay, well, I think kidnapping boats, and so here is kind of what I came up with. Let me read for you the log line that I wrote for it. Hickory Cage. When a young police officer becomes stranded in open water with a kidnapping suspect, she must find a way to shore before she too ends up 20,000 leagues below. Ooh, pretty spooky stuff, right? So you might be thinking to yourself, Merrick, how are you going to do something like that on a budget that you currently have, which is nothing? Like, how are you going to shoot what is clearly a kind of illustrious thing on a boat? Like, how are you going to shoot stuff on a boat? Well, to that I say, I actually do have the ability to film on a boat, which is great. My parents, we have a boat. It's a good time. My family owns a boat that I would be able to film on. I've done it before. I'll hopefully do it again in the future, and it'll be great. But that's actually wherein the problem with this script lies, because, some tension, some problems, some conflict is the heart of storytelling, and you got to have it when you're writing stories too. Otherwise, what's the point? You got to suffer for your art. And by that I mean, essentially, the boat that we have is not actually big enough for this story in my mind. Like, there's some plot points, like how the police officer ends up on the boat in the first place, because why would they go on there? So some of the plot points, like how they end up on the boat, and like what's in the boat, like the game of cat and mouse maybe that they play, like them going through this boat. There's like 3 or 4 plot points that kind of hinge on the idea of them being in a larger boat. So to do that, although it's maybe bending the rules a little bit of being within my means, I would have to possibly call in a couple of favors. I know we my family and I, we know a couple people that have some big old boats that are actually older and kind of would fit this theme more so. And if worse comes to worse, I could probably shuffle around the barely existing funds that I have in lieu of spending them somewhere else to get a bigger boat, because for me that is an important part of this script. Like, you could argue, like, you could just film it on the boat that you have, which is true. I could for the most part, but it wouldn't really be the same. It wouldn't be the same. Whether or not that's a good thing for you, or if that matters to you, is fine. But for me, I think that this script needs to take place on a bigger, kind of almost like a house-style boat, something that has an underdeck where people could be and walk around, and that would really, I think, amp up this story a lot. But that's really the only problem that I ran into writing this. Otherwise, I think this would be a really great thing to actually, like, go all out with, expand on a little bit, and, completely completely throw myself into, direct that, and it'd be a good time. Perhaps over the summer I could get a boat like that. We'll see how much boat rentals cost for a day to film on. That's the meme. That's the ticket for this, is finding how much boats cost. Because if I wasn't able to call in, a favor, I would just get a boat. But honestly, I think that about does it for us today, which is fine. It's a good time. It was a good time. I don't know. I can never tell if these episodes are short or long now because I get really rambly. I'm not using the teleprompter anymore because I was never able to set the speed correctly. I always felt like I was talking too fast, which is probably not actually fixed by me not having it. I think I just talk fast and then I'm also rambling, which makes the videos longer. But that's fine. Either way, it's fine. It's a good time. So that's about all we have for today. Tune in tomorrow when it's another Ideas from the Hat Day, except with a little itty bitty little twist. It's a genre bender. That's right. What's our genre bender gonna be? I'm not telling you, but here's a hint. It's gonna be super. So if you're doing the 60 and 60 challenge along with me, that's fantastic. Keep up with it. Keep up the great work. And if you haven't started yet, again, it's never too late to jump in. And I don't mean, wait until you're in your 90s to jump in. What I'm saying is if you haven't started yet, now is the time. Now is always the time. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is right now, that whole thing. So jump in. It'll be great. But, I mean, if you don't want to jump in, I understand, when you're emotionally mature enough, these videos will still be around. They'll be here, hopefully, unless YouTube strictens its guidelines even more and they just delete every channel with under a thought. Never mind. I don't want to get this. It's too, all right. Well, see you later. Okay, bye. Bye.